Hello guys, welcome back to SSA Athletics and welcome back to the high jump playlist. And what we're going to talk about today is the takeoff. If you want to watch another video on the actual run-up, you can see the card above. If you want to see more videos like this, I suggest you subscribe, lightly tap or smash that bell. You can also check out our Facebook pages, one to do with the training, one to do with the actual athletics club itself. Or you can check out our website at ssathletics.co.uk. As we come into the bar, we want to be leaning to the side as we come up. That way we get more room as we come into the action and we straighten up. It gives us that little bit extra room to go over the bar. Otherwise you will end up jumping into the bar. About converting the horizontal velocity into vertical height, and we do this from the takeoff by generating power. The less time we spend generating power, the more power we produce. As a result, in elite high jumpers, their takeoff foot is only a fraction of a second spent on the ground. As a result, they produce 8 to 10 times the weight of their body force upon them. On takeoff, you come around, you plant your foot, you bring your arms up to help generate that height off the ground, and you bring the leg up as you do it, the inside leg as you do it, and you come up into that action. And then as you do, you come up into the action, you're twisting, and you arch your back ready to get over the bar. In the high jump, on the run up, we have this preparation phase where the body gets round to it, and they're basically building the rhythm up to the point of the jump, the point of takeoff, like our athlete here. Every athlete has a different rhythm, and this prevents them coming in too fast or too slow. The body within 0.03 of a second has to twist around in order to be backwards to the bar, in order to get a successful flossibly flop. The takeoff actually helps us with this, with a 20-degree takeoff. This helps us to get round into that position. Athletes will try and do different exercises that work on this kind of power, work on hip power, and also work on rotation in order to help them with their high jump. Doing such of these exercises as shown here, with twisting, working on the back and hip mobility. This is where doing hurdle work can help, but also that Russian horse jump or those lunges can also help as well. Develop those hip areas. What we want also is have a strong core, because there's no point doing all these exercises if we don't have a strong core, otherwise it will lead to injury or poor biomechanics. This is because 8 to 10 times the force of gravity goes through the body, through the ground, through the knees, through the calves, and through that athlete. That can cause a potential injury if that athlete is not strong or powerful or has poor technique. Takeoff foot point is approximately 0.5 to 0.75 meters from the near upright bar. So basically you should be aiming to utilize that as your visual guide point for when you're going to take off from. Now, some people will change where they come from, so they might take off from earlier, they might take off from later. It's all down to the individual. Also, how far you take off from will also be down to the individual. Some, like Barsham, take off really far out, where others do not. And this is to prevent you coming up and landing on top of the bar. When you take off further out, it's a greater opportunity for you to land on top of the bar. But likewise, that depends on the individual. Sometimes if you take off too close to the bar, well, you end up knocking the bar off on the way up. If you take off too far out, you end up knocking the bar on the way down. The takeoff foot should be slightly ahead of the body on takeoff. The takeoff foot should be pointing towards the position halfway between the middle of the bar and the far upright of the bar. So basically, as you come around the bar, you place your foot. You don't necessarily want to have your foot facing towards the actual bed itself. Otherwise, it makes it a lot harder for you to jump and to rotate. But you want it to basically facing the wall or facing almost slightly away from the high jump bed. And from that, we want to have our alignment should be with the takeoff leg as we go around. The hips are forward up until the point where you start to take off, and then that's when you rotate. And your inside shoulder should be up high, and that's why we utilize to throw our arms up high. Not only does it keep us tall, although we are leaning away from the bar, it keeps us tall, keeps our shoulders up high, but it can also help us with the actual height movement motion itself by trying to generate that force upwards. And the hips are 45-degree angle to the bar, and the shoulders are roughly around about 90 degrees. The inside shoulders should not drop into towards the bar, otherwise you will end up flying into the bar, not getting very much height, or just knocking the bar on the way up. And the rotation comes from the non-jumping side. The leg nearest the bar is the driven up, bent and high at the opposite upright. Thigh and foot parallel with the ground, lower leg vertical. Both arms are swung forwards and upwards as mentioned before, and this helps us to drive with the free leg.